Thank you all for joining us today. I'm really excited about this story and just sharing a little bit more about how Mesa-Spring Valley schools are using ClassWallet to help their principals. So this is the Managing the Principal piece of the pie webinar. And again, we thank you for joining us and hope you get some good tips out of it. I am Jordan Garnett. I'm the customer marketing manager here. And my job is to work with clients to share their stories, make sure they get the communications they want from us, and just supporting any way that they can. And my favorite part is doing webinars like this, where we get to really highlight and illuminate these stories. With me today is Mallory Harvey. Mallory, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hi. Thanks everyone for joining. Excited to be with y'all this afternoon or morning, depending on where you're at. I'm Mallory. I am our team lead for our client success team that we started back in August. So Lydia is also here on the call as well. So we currently make up our client success team, and we're here to largely support administrators, work closely through the implementation process and throughout the year for the client journey. So that's what we're here for. So if you're not familiar with us, please feel free to reach out if you are a client. But we're excited to be here today. Thanks.
All right, a little housekeeping. We are using the chat. I see that everyone is able to use that. So if you have any thoughts or ideas or anything, you can put that there. We're also using the Q&A. So if you do have a question at any point while we're talking or while our special guest is talking, you can drop it in there and we will be sure to answer that. So just now, just to get us started, if you can drop in the chat where you're from, you can say school district, your state, and what your role is. That would be great. If you are a current client already, let us know how long you've been using ClassWallet. We'd love to know about that. I'll give you a minute here. All right, Lakeside Union for purchasing, cool. Oh, we've got Vindy from Learning Partners for Success. Been with ClassWallet for 3 years. Thank you for being here. Very cool. All right. Thank you for that. So just to walk through the agenda a little bit, we'd like the majority of our time today to be spent with our guest speaker and let him talk. But we do want to start with a little background on ClassWallet and our digital wallet technology. Then we'll talk a little bit about Mesa-Spring Valley schools and then introduce our speaker, at which point we'll turn it over to him. And he'll get into how they are using ClassWallet for their principals and helping to really streamline the purchasing process for them. After that, we'll come back and answer any questions you may have. And of course, you may use the Q&A feature again as we go along. So here at ClassWallet, our motivation is made up by two parts, our mission and our vision. And these are the things that really drive us every day. Our mission is really to eliminate the burden of purchasing and reimbursement process to make it easier for our customers to spend more time making a difference where it counts. And that is the schools, the students, educators, and beyond. Our vision is increasing the rate of getting funds into the hands of those who need it when they need it, and through a solution that's easy to use. So that's what really drives us here and what makes us who we are and what gets us out of bed in the morning and why we do what we do. Digital wallet technology enhances the flexibility of spending, giving users the ability to make purchases within the guardrails that you all set as admins. And it really streamlines the tracking, reconciliation, and payment process for admins, making audits a breeze We've heard from lots of people who really enjoy being able to just run a report and hand it over to the auditor, and it's really that easy. And then we have challenges.
Yeah, so some of the challenges that present itself today and where ClassWallet can be helpful is, transparency. So, as dollars are going out, people are needing purchases, whether it's the school level, other departments within the district, being able to be able to see those, especially electronically. Staffing, as new folks come in to the jobs and younger, and then some are retiring, just having a way to make it a little easier to put these processes into place and have a more automated process, again, for them to follow for easy training, as new staff again come on board. Being able to approve and process the time instead of a lot of paperwork, currently following a lot of different hands, and Jordan will speak to this a little bit about kind of, how that process would work manually and what we can do to improve that. But just really being able to increase the approval process and time from current to how, we can help with ClassWallet. Audit readiness, it's a lot to get those manual papers and everything in order to be audited, making sure everyone's following those rules. And so this, is another challenge, and that's where we can be helpful and again, have those in electronic format, also access to auditors to the solution to run reports as needed. The accountability and spending guidelines, those are in place, but being able, sometimes may not have restrictions around that in electronic format, kind of restrictions maybe after the fact, or having to deal with some of those spending that may have gone, incorrectly. Being able to put those guardrails up, within a solution to kind of, go through an automatic flow of those guidelines that you set as administrators. So, and just overall kind of just the current climate of everything, again, with transparency, staffing, people again retiring and, finding new folks. So just kind of all related those things to the current climate that you all are dealing with. And talking about what generates the most paperwork, so we know we've got different funding sources within, your schools and district. So capital expenses and planned expenses, don't always come with a high volume of the purchases. They're planning, where those dollars are going, and really the purchase and reimbursements that are happening, within departments at the school level, classrooms, teachers, federal, local, legislative dollars. When you're getting more, employees and people involved in that process, it just really drives up the high volume of the POs and the reimbursement process and getting those checks written. So that's again where we can help, kind of cut down on those processes and high volume of POs, checks, all of that timing.
And speaking of paperwork, this is one of my favorite graphics that we have, because it's a really good way to see what normally is, what a lot of people are saying, this is the way we do it because it's how we've always done it, and then how ClassWallet helps that. So you see the old way, there are lots of different steps, lots of people involved. You have to make the request, goes through the approval process, which could be one person, it could be 5 people. It changes, it's different from district to district and organization to organization. Then it becomes a purchase order. You actually make the purchase, then you have to deal with the receipt and the reconciliation. And you see that it can be a very long and drawn out process. Then we come over to the ClassWallet way, and ClassWallet makes it easy. You establish the budget and controls, fund the platform, and know exactly who and what those funds are earmarked for. Users access their funds, they shop online, they get reimbursed, they pay vendors directly through payments and receipts. You set the approval guardrails and get real-time reports. It really condenses the steps, it condenses the time, and gets supplies and materials into the hands that need it when they need it.
And just our solutions here and how we're able to, take all those processes and really condense them down. Our marketplace, where users can shop over 60 plus vendors, right through the ClassWallet solution, go and build their cart and then check out with the funds that they have available that are already been approved on the ClassWallet solution. We have ACH payments, so whether it's reimbursements, for staff, or that they need to make those. So we have a way you can link a bank account directly. Once that has been approved, it will automatically be ACH directly back to that user. So they would upload their receipt of the purchase and then submit that for a reimbursement for ACH. Direct pay is similar, but more for vendors. So, for local vendors or vendors that may have contracts that aren't currently on the marketplace solution, or, using those for different reasons. It's a way that you can invite your local vendors or vendors that you work with to the platform. They can sign up, add in their banking account information, and then they're able to receive payment via ACH. So as you all upload any invoices or things from various users, they're approved, they will automatically be sent via ACH to that vendor. And then the card program, which Seth will be speaking to, is prepaid debit card. You set an amount that you want loaded on that. There's various controls that you have. Preferred vendors, you of course put the limit that you want on there as far as the amount of funds available. You can also shut the card down based on an allotted number of transactions. So, if they've done 3 transactions, they have not uploaded, the receipts per transaction, the card can actually be cut off at that time. So just wanted to give a quick high level overview of, our solutions and offering, and how we can take all those processes and really condense them down into an electronic format. So we're going to do a quick poll. So Jordan will start that and you'll see it on the screen. We just kind of want to know a little bit about the number of schools. So we've given a range, 0 or less than 10, 10 to 30, and then greater than 30. And then also a second question within that poll is, what describes your purchasing process? So is it centralized? All purchases are going, whether it's at the school or whomever, it's all going through you all at the district level, or decentralized, the schools are doing those, bookkeepers, secretaries at the school level, principals overseeing that as well. So we'll give you a few seconds, I guess. Good deal.
We like these questions because it kind of will get you be able to compare where you are to where a speaker is and where he's coming from, just to get an idea of how this could work, or what this might look like if you used it in your organization. So I think we'll do about 20 more seconds or so, and then we'll move on. We'll give some background on the Mesa-Spring Valley School District and then hand it over to our speaker. Oh, I was about to say if we are split 50-50, and then we got another answer. Now we're 60-40. So we got a few small districts under fewer than 10, and then a couple of larger districts with schools, more than 30 schools. And same with centralized and decentralized. We're at 60% centralized and 40% decentralized. So thank you for participating. That gives us an idea of where you're coming from and what your districts look like. So now we'll get into the Mesa-Spring Valley School story. So a little bit about the district. It's a K-8 district with 16 elementary schools, 5 academies, and 1 blended learning program. That really got started during the pandemic, and is they've shifted a little bit. Well, not shifted, but it looks a little bit different now with more students being in person, but that's still there, and that gives them more choice in the matter, and that's really cool. There's 22 principals and about 10,000 students. So Seth Boomgarden is our special guest today. He is the Director of Fiscal Services with La Mesa-Spring Valley School District, and he has been there for about 10 years. And I will turn it over to him to let him tell you a little bit more about himself and his district and what they are doing to help streamline the principal purchasing. So I'm going to stop sharing, and Seth, you can take over.
Great, thanks. So yeah, we're La Mesa-Spring Valley School District is a K-8 district. We're located in Southern California, specifically in San Diego County, right outside the city of San Diego. And we have actually 10,700 students enrolled. And we have 16 regular K-6 elementary schools, but we also have 5 academies, which grade levels are ranging from K-6, 4 to 8, or 7th and 8th. Those academies are, we have an arts academy, sports and health science academy, we have a STEAM academy, and we also have a dual language academy. And then we have that one blended learning academy, which also is K-8. So we've been using ClassWallet for, I would say, about 8 months now. And we have, like that slide said, we have 22 principals utilizing the card program. And we actually discovered ClassWallet because our superintendent was Googling digital wallet, and we came across the ClassWallet program. And we had some meetings set up, and then we determined that their program was the right fit for us. So we were really looking to replace our current reimbursement process. And the current reimbursement process for our principals was basically a requisition was generated, typically by the school office manager. That went through a bunch of approvals, and then it became a PO, which then had approvals. And then eventually the information would come into the business office here, and a check would be generated. And this whole process can be, unfortunately, kind of slow. So it takes a little while to get, if you're getting reimbursed, it takes a little while to get your money back, possibly 2-3 weeks, depending on how quickly people approve things. So principals were utilizing their own credit cards to kind of pay for food for meetings. Maybe it was like a parent-teacher night or a staff gathering, and they would need to, maybe it was a local vendor, and a local vendor wouldn't either accept a PO, they wouldn't accept a check, or unfortunately, maybe it was a last-minute arrangement, so they couldn't wait the timeline to get a check generated. And sometimes these expenditures can be a lot. It could be as much as possibly $1,000 if they have multiple meetings in a row. So as a principal, you're fronting this $1,000 and then waiting possibly 2 to 3 weeks to get your money back. It just wasn't ideal. We were getting some complaints that the process was taking too long, and they didn't like having to put up their own money, and it just wasn't working out as smoothly as we had hoped that it would. So that's why we started looking into a digital wallet. And what we liked about ClassWallet versus some of the other purchasing cards that we had looked at is the software was super user-friendly. And we loved how easy it was for principals to go in there and upload. They could take a picture with their phone of the receipt and store it and give it later, send it to the SOM, or they could upload it directly into ClassWallet, or they could scan the receipt and attach a PDF. That was super helpful versus our old process of sending these items to the district office and then us kind of looking through them. You can also attach a description of the purchase, which is extremely helpful because sometimes we'll get receipts to the district office and we're like, what are these and what are they for? And why are you sending us this? There's just no reference there. So being able to add a reference on the transaction and upload a PDF or a picture was awesome. And it really, really helped us out. And so we did a training for our principals. ClassWallet sent us some instructional materials, and then we customized it for our people, held the training, and then distributed all the cards and encouraged them to activate and link right there on the spot so that they wouldn't have issues later when they're using a card, just like any other card where you have to activate it first. So kind of did that training, and that was helpful. And what really helped us is the principals didn't have to front their own money, and they didn't have to wait for a reimbursement. So it sped up the whole process. And it also helped the business office as well, because we were able to get receipts much quicker, and it cut down on our monthly reconciliation time of having to call principals and say, what is this transaction? Please send us your receipts. It just sped up the entire process. And we weren't emailing the principals as much, which is awesome. And we were also ClassWallet allows you to generate various reports, tons of different reporting that allows you to see the attachments, which have the receipts in them, and the PDFs, and then also the description. So there's various reports that you can run, and so that was really helpful to see the history of maybe one card or just like the monthly transactions for a group of cards. So yeah, in conclusion, ClassWallet has benefited both our principals and our business office. It has saved us time, and it's hassle-free, and we're glad we went with them. So that's kind of our story for La Mesa-Spring Valley. So thanks.
Awesome, Seth. Thanks so much. I'm going to just kind of throw a few questions at you. As far as the implementation process, you found that to be, pretty smooth and, not a daunting task on your end?
Yeah, it was very easy. So the key was the training. So the fact that we held that training and then customized the training in advance was really helpful for us. And then encouraging them to activate and link the cards right away was also helpful. We did it. Unfortunately, not everyone took us up on that. And we did have people later trying to call us and be like, why isn't my card working? And we're like, well, even if you have a regular credit card, you still have to activate your card before you can use it. Mm-hmm. So it was really smooth for most people. Everyone that attended the training, it was great.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm talking with a few, clients and things to talk about the card program and the best way, to get it into the hands. So, did you hand the cards out at the training? I was just thinking about, getting them to the district, and then that way you're actually able to. Okay, that's great.
We had them sign for them. So we had a list of everyone, and everyone was at the training, signed for them, and then we held the rest in our vault here at the district office, and people would come in that weren't able to make the training.
Great.
And we had a PDF that we sent out for reference, and so everyone knew how to go through the materials if they weren't able to go and do everything that they needed to do. But it's super easy.
Awesome. Very cool. And then you mentioned the reconciliation process, Seth. So you're able to easily identify, when you're, doing the reconciliation process and putting it into your ERP. So it's easy to, tag those lines. And are you tracking it by school, or you just have different?
Yeah, by card holder. Yep. Okay. We are tracking by card holder, and we do like a monthly reconciliation of that. And for audit purposes and for our own purposes, it's really important that so we have like mandatory fields that they have to fill out. And kind of like we had mentioned earlier, we have put on the restrictions where they can only do 3 transactions without uploading the receipt, and then they have to upload the receipt. We love that. So basically they get a hard stop, and then, sometimes they know why they're getting a hard stop, and other times they'll call us and we'll be like, well, we don't have any of your receipts for the prior transactions. We really need those. So that has been awesome for us, just to kind of do a self-check of, making sure that we have all of the documentation that we need in a timely manner. Has been great.
Yes, for sure. And when traveling, I end up losing receipts here and there. So, it's easy. It's a good way to have that to, not say, oh, I lost it, but that you need it because you're wanting to use those funds.
Right.
So
I don't lose photos really, right? So you can take a photo. You don't really lose that. So it's really easy.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Great. Well, I think those are kind of my questions I pulled out. I really appreciate you sharing. And happy if there's anyone else that wants to chime in, we've got the Q&A or chat in general. Any questions around, the process or anything for Seth or us here on the ClassWallet team.
Oh, we're asking for feedback from the principals. What have you heard, Seth? Has it been positive? What are they saying?
They love it. They love that they got their own credit, like not fronting your money, especially if it's a ton of money. That alone, like I got the claps. We got like a standing ovation right when we said we were giving them credit cards. So or debit cards. They loved it. So yeah, it's been really easy. And a lot of times it's not the principal themselves that's actually utilizing the software. It's the school office manager will do it for them. And we've heard really good feedback from them as well.
Oh, that's good. I like the standing ovation. Another question. Who was involved on your end in the process as you evaluated ClassWallet?
So initially, because our superintendent was the one that actually discovered ClassWallet, the first meeting was the superintendent, the CBO, and myself. And then after the first meeting, they basically were like, Seth, if you think this is good, you can kind of move forward. And so then myself and some of the others in the business office moved forward in the process.
Very good. Good questions, Jamie. Thank you. Any others? We'll give you another minute or so. Oh, what has surprised you the most using ClassWallet?
What has surprised me the most? I guess I don't know that this was necessarily surprising. I knew it would be easier. I guess I didn't realize like kind of how much better this process was than what we were doing before. And I knew that the principals fronting money on their own credit cards was kind of a hassle, but I guess I didn't realize like how much of a hassle it was. And so for them having their own cards and being able to utilize them, and how beneficial that was to them, I guess that was probably the most surprising piece.
Oh, good. Oh, we got questions rolling in now. What made you look, you talked about this a little bit, but what made you look for a solution originally? And was there a breaking point on your old process?
Yeah, complaints. Complaints were the breaking point. There was lots of complaints about, we kind of changed a little bit of what we allowed the sites to spend some of their funding on. They were allowed to spend it on food for meetings and food for parent teachers, conferences and things. And so that changed. And because not a lot of vendors were accepting POs, and in fact, a ton of vendors weren't accepting POs, it kind of caused this issue where they were having to front the money. And so there was lots of complaints coming in of having to do that and how long it took and how it would get stuck in the approval process on someone's desk that wasn't approving it. So there was a breaking point, and yeah, I would say complaints.
Sounds like it. And we got another one. How long did it take to roll the program out after you made the decision to bring it on at the district level?
So as soon as we had the contract signed and everything, it was less than, I would say the whole process was less than a month. As soon as we got the cards and the training materials, we customized them really quickly. And then our next principal meeting, a portion of the meeting was dedicated to us giving a presentation about the cards, giving them the cards, how to activate the cards. And then we kind of went through our process of our typical guidelines of what you can use the card for, how it gets audited, how important it is to make sure that you're saying what you're spending these funds on and being very clear. So it was very quick once we received the physical cards.
Oh, very good. It doesn't take long to roll it out. It's good to know. Thank you. All right, do we have any more questions coming in? We're at 2:31 here on the East Coast. So
I will say one thing too. I also have a ClassWallet card. So what was really helpful for our district is I tested out the whole process before we even distributed the cards. So as soon as we got it, I went out and made purchases that we needed for the office and kind of went through everything. So I was able to see it from a user perspective. That really helped in the training as I was explaining it to people on how to use it, what to do, where to go. And that was really helpful.
That's a really good piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah. Real life examples.
Yes. Ooh. Okay. How does this differ from other purchasing cards?
Sure. So we have other purchasing cards actually in our district that we use with Mission Federal, our bank here. The thing that we liked about ClassWallet versus our standard Mission Fed Bank P card was the software. The software was so huge for us as a district. The fact that you could upload receipts directly, that you could run queries was super helpful. All of the things that you kind of couldn't do with a regular P card was super. That's why we went with the software for sure.
Oh, good. More questions. Are you seeing other applications for the cards beyond the principals?
Yeah, so we do have one card that is going to be going to our maintenance department to utilize as well. So it will go beyond just the principals to other department managers. Principals were the squeakiest wheel, I would say. So that was the problem that we wanted to solve first. But definitely, I could see it going to some of our other departments that need an emergency form to purchase things, right? Like your maintenance department always has these emergencies that will come up that they need something right now and they can't wait for our standard purchasing process. So it definitely is going to roll out to them, and it could go to others as well.
Yeah, it's always good to, try one group, see how it works, and then start expanding as you do.
Right.
Do you have any data or metrics off the top of your head that you can share about the immediate impact ClassWallet has had on your district?
I don't know that I have any metrics. I could say that the complaint department is significantly down, and the overjoyed department is significantly up. And I could say that as far as the time savings for our district, in my department specifically, it's definitely a time saving, just because you can run, as long as your principals are active on uploading their receipts in a timely manner, which we strongly encourage in our training. We saw the reconciliation process is less calling and less emailing principals, less waiting for things to come in. It just is way quicker to be able to run a query and see everything right there.
Yeah. At time, though, time is the only thing you can't get back.
Yeah.
So that's good. Do you know if more funds are being used now that it's easier?
Well, it works like a debit card. So we set it up with a restricted amount of funds to be used per month. And I don't know that we were initially worried that they would utilize these cards to bypass our normal purchasing process, which has a bunch of approvals built into it. And it really hasn't. And that was kind of our worry from the business office. Our principals have been really good based on the training that we gave of what these cards can be used for using it only for those types of purchases. So I don't know that they're spending more. It's easier. I would say they're spending the same, but just the process is easier.
Gotcha. Kind of related, can you limit the stores or types of transactions with the cards?
So that might be a question for you guys. I believe you can. We haven't done that. We haven't limited what they can use it for. For us, it's basically like if you provide a description of what this is for, then it's fine with us. So we haven't, but maybe you guys could explain more if you can do that or not.
Mallory, can you take that one?
Yeah, you can limit the transactions, based on like the merchant, vendor merchant. So that's a limitation there that you can set.
Thank you. I had this question too. Thank you, Jamie, for asking it. Did your principals sign an affidavit before they were given access to their funds?
Yeah, we had a sheet that they signed. It comes out of their normal discretionary budget, the funds that they're spending. So when they received the card, basically they signed a form saying that they'll abide by the rules of the card. But yeah, the funds were already funds that they had were able to spend. So, and they get audited on a monthly basis.
Oh, good.
So many great questions. Got you on the hot seat, Seth.
Yeah, I didn't expect so many questions.
Yeah, but
you're doing great.
Good information for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Any others before we close? Or sorry, Jordan, go ahead.
Nope, that's what I was going to say.
Awesome. Well, thank everyone so much for your time. If y'all have any other questions, please feel free to reach out and contact us. But we really appreciate the time. And Seth, kudos to you for making that change and hearing those complaints and finding a great solution to those. I know you serve the parents and students, but also your staff as well. So we really appreciate you sharing the story. It was super helpful to me. I know be coming on in August and not being able to be a part of the full process that you went through. So we appreciate everyone joining. A recording of this will be shared out as well, and we hope that you all have a fabulous rest of your week. Thanks so much again, Seth.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.